50s for my teenage years. That's where I grew up, and that's where I went to junior high, to elementary and junior high. But you got all of your news through the radio. When the president came on to speak, it was like everybody was glued to the radio. I remember when the president came on the radio and we was all listening, and he declared that we had been bombed in Pearl Harbor, and that was the beginning of the war. And then when the war was over and he declared the war was over and everybody was happy and out in the streets and having parades, and when the men came home. My dad worked for Shell Oil Company. We were not a poor family. We was, but we wasn't rich. But I never had to do without, like a lot of families. Went to war, and the women went to the factories and refineries and went to work. 4. 2 uncles and 2 cousins, to which one of them didn't come back. He was killed. He was 20 years old. Navy was there in Orange, Texas. It was a base there. And there was a lot of sailors all over Orange at that time during the war. When you went to the movies, they had what they call newsreels. You would see what was happening, and they would show pictures of the war and things that was happening overseas or had happened. I had one uncle that he was in bad shape from the war and things mentally and things that he had saw and lived through. And my first husband was a Korean vet. During the 40s, I was younger, and I just remembered, them always talking about what was going on in the war and this, that, and the other. I knew it was bad, and I knew that I had uncles and cousins over there, and but then when the 50s came roaring in, things started changing, and people were, happier, and they were making more money, and they were able to, you could buy a home then. And in the 50s is when you could start getting credit cards, which that's a bad thing for a lot of people. And they could buy more, do more, and they were more at peace. As far as me as a teenager, no. I just knew it was all behind us, and I was a teenager. I was enjoying life. The big highways started, pastimes, skating rinks, the movies, the drive-in movies came in during that time. Fast foods were out. We didn't have very many. Princess Drive-In, where they would roll up on the roller skates and take our order. That was in the 50s. Then we had a hamburger joint. It was called the Zesto, because that's when they started making the ice cream come out of that machine.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Frozen.
That's when it all started, in the 50s. That's what I'm saying. All this kind of stuff started booming in towns, and things started being built. A pair of nylon hose with the black seam down the back, like they used to wear. I have those. I in the 50s, when I started wearing hose, I had some, but you was always doing this, trying to keep them straight.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I heard that.
And some girls would even take a black pen and stuff down the back of their leg.
To pretend like they have them on. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, all of America was different. Yeah.